Hello everybody, Dean here down at Dean's Deals. I'm a business within a business. I obviously work for Riverina Motor Group down here, Riverina Nissan in Wagga. I'm sending cars all over the country at the moment. Alice Springs, Rockhampton, Brisbane, Adelaide. I've sent them everywhere in the last 12 months. Don't think geography is a reason not to buy a car from me. Now, obviously we've got all the brand new Nissans. Just a heads up, 5K increase in Nissan petrol prices as of this month. So August, they're going up. Now I do still have some 2024 models in my stock, and of course I can get you the 2025s, all in preparation for the 2026. Now I've got some Navaras, great price, Qashqais, great price. I've also got plenty of X-Trails, and I've got my entire used car stock. But welcome to CarCorner. I'm going to run through a couple of little quick things for you, just to give you a few tips, a few pointers, a few whatever you're doing. If you're not going to buy a car from me, you might as well have some tools to know what you're looking for. Now, if you're going to go into a used car lot, you're going to find some character like me, probably not as good looking, charming, and as funny. I can't say that I'm good looking, charming, or funny with a straight face. We all know. Head like a half-eaten pie, but doesn't matter. I've got a bit of a personality, and I'm happy to share with you what I've learned over the last sort of 2 years involved in this industry. Used cars can be problematic. There's a reason why insurance companies, finance companies have very strict rules in around what they're going to support, sponsor, insure, and finance. There is a reason for it. Part of that reason is because as cars age, get more kilometers, more difficult to get certain parts, etc. They do become harder to maintain, more expensive to maintain, a far better statistical possibility of something going wrong with them. Now, Nissan have come out with a 10-year, 300,000 kilometer warranty. That's pretty awesome. So they're backing their product. That's great. But what I've got to say is, if you're going to go into a used car lot and it's not mine, I can't speak for what they will and won't do, right? I can't do it. Don't have that luxury. I can tell you, I've designed a bit of a checklist of things that you should probably think about, things you could consider. Hell, print it off, go into your local car dealer if you're not going to buy a used car from me, or go into whoever you're going to see off Facebook Marketplace and say to yourself, hey guys, I've got a checklist here, I want to work through it before you buy a used car. I don't mind if you print it off, bring it in here to see me and go, well, hang on, these are the things I need to consider, A, B, and C. More than happy for you to do that. The link for the checklist is in the description. I think I've got it down at $7 a pop, but it's also got pay what you like. So not in the business of extorting people, but obviously if you value that content and you find it helpful and useful, you want to kick me a drink, I'm all for it. Thank you very much. But things to consider. Look, the list is 50 items, 50 checkpoints. I'm going to point out a couple. The kilometers do matter. The more kilometers a car has done, the closer it's going to be to a problem. Now, your price needs to reflect the amount of kilometers. You can't just sort of go, oh yeah, well, it's got lots and lots of kilometers, but I only want to pay this or I want to pay that. That's got to all balance out. We're in reality here, real world. It's not just name your own price and pick and choose and what have you. As a dealer, we've got some responsibilities. We need to make sure the thing's roadworthy. If it's not, we are responsible to ensure we can look after you. So that's an advantage of buying from a dealer as opposed to buying off mysterious Freddy off the internet. But everybody does what everybody does. We also have to consider the service history of a car. Now, the service history basically gives you an idea. It's not foolproof. There's nothing foolproof with used cars. No such thing. But it gives you a bit of an idea as to how much love the car has received from its previous owner or owners. I don't put as much gravitas into the one owner thing, because you could have one owner who's an absolute spaz with their car. So that's not always necessarily a good thing. But there is obviously, look, if it is a genuine one owner, nice little old lady, it's probably done 10 laps around the block. There's obviously some benefits to that. But that one owner could be a complete maniac as well, who's absolutely flogged the guts out of said vehicle. Again, you need to look at price versus what you're getting, what the car is, kilometers, service history, all that sort of stuff bundles into one. If you're getting a fair deal, you're getting a fair deal. check that service history. Obviously, if it's all with the manufacturer, great. They've obviously got the technicians. For example, here at Riverina Nissan, we have master techs. That sounds pretty impressive. These are the guys who have gone through every training course known to man to ensure that they know everything there is to know about the Nissan automobile, and they are well qualified to look after those vehicles. That's awesome. Not everybody has that luxury, and not every brand has that luxury. Good luck finding a Holden Master Tech these days if you're going to buy an old Captiva for 8 to 10 grand off the lot. Got to be a little bit realistic. But of course, when you see that service history, it tells you roughly how well it's been looked after and maintained, and all things being equal, that should give you a good idea as to what you're buying. And if it's going to, fingers crossed, nothing's going to go wrong, or limited amounts of things are going to go wrong, because life happens and things always go wrong. The other thing to consider when you're looking at the kilometres, it does matter what sort of kilometres you're getting. It matters whether it's a diesel or a petrol engine. Not necessarily pros and cons, just an understanding of what you're buying and the longevity expected. Check out whether it's got a DPF filter. Those things seem to cause a few problems. Worth knowing. Look for dings. Look for scratch paint. Look for evidence of problems. And ask your salesperson about it. They may not know. There's very, very large possibility in various dealerships that a salesperson is not going to know the 100% history of an automobile. That's just not possible. So you've got to be realistic. But they might know. And they might go, look, the lady who bought in this Volkswagen Golf, for example, was 18. She learned to drive it. She's had a couple of scratches up the side. Hence why the car's worth 25 grand on the lot, but we're doing it at 23 grand because we're going to pay for that, or we expect you to pay for that. That's a you problem. So that can be done as well. It's worth knowing. It's all about understanding. It's about being transparent with the customer. I don't have any delusions that all of my used cars are perfect. But I can tell you the following. What I do, as soon as a used car comes in, whether it's from a trade-in, whether it's somebody sold us the car, we do look at the service history. We rarely keep cars that don't have good service history. As a rule, we've avoided cars that are over 150,000 kilometres on the clock. We have tried to avoid that. Now, every now and then we'll look at a car and go, oh, look, it's got these pros, these cons, maybe. Again, we're just trying to use our best judgment in the space. None of us are perfect. We have valuers who will value the car. We work out a price based on what they value, what we've bought the car in for. We'll work that out based on assuming that, okay, this car needs 2 new tyres, for example. It needs a full service. It does have paint work that needs fixing. So we'll factor all that in. We'll try and get all that done. And then we get that car out to you. So if you go and buy something on Facebook Marketplace, they're not going to do any of that. They're not going to give you a pink slip. There is no warranties. There's no guarantees. Here's the advantage, I guess, of buying through a dealership. This dealership where I'm sitting now has been in Wagga for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I'm not sure the exact history of the building, but it's been a car yard for a long, long time. Now, I remember it being Jason Nissan when I was a little kid. They used to have the ads on TV when I was, still running around as a real little tacker. So you've got the added advantage of, if I got the sack tomorrow, you could still come in here, speak to the company and say, I bought this used car 2 weeks ago. The salesman's no longer here, but this is the problem I'm facing. And unless something catastrophic happens to the broader business, you can really sit down and say, help me out, this is what's going on. And there's a process. There's, first it'll be a mechanical check, then it'll be an assessment from the salespeople, the managers, the food chain, as happens in most businesses. Most car companies, and I know car salesmen get a bad rap. If you look at my public profile, I probably get a bad rap for probably being too honest with people at times, and I'll wear that badge all day long. But there are good people who want you to drive away in a highly functional car that does what it says on the box. It's reliable, consistent. They obviously want you to come back and service with us and get your mechanical stuff with us. That's just a part of the ongoing maintenance of a vehicle. But you're not going to want to do that if you have a horrible time and if you feel ripped off. So I'm certainly going to be working as hard as I can representing my customers with the company to say, hang on a minute, you bought a car, there has been a challenge here, or this has happened. We need to make sure that it's handled well and done right. Nobody's perfect. But if you want to download my checklist, if you're going to buy a car from somebody else who you can't call, or you can't, I put my phone number and everything, 0421 349 397. Now, in saying that, if I don't answer straight away, don't get offended, chances are it'll be the next day or a couple of days, depending on, there's a baby on the way. I got kids' sport. I got a life. But, I generally get back to everybody all within reasonable amount of time. Certainly not ducking and running and going anywhere. So all I need from you guys is to understand, download the checklist. If you want to buy me a coffee using that, I'm all for it too. Hey, I won't say no. But if you don't, download it, pay whatever you want to pay. Pay $1, I don't care. Take that checklist to another dealership. Take it to Fred, Mysterious Freddie on the side of the road, or Harry, or whatever the guy's name is, who you buy a car off, and go through that checklist. Use it to help you make sure that when you spend your money, it goes on a car that you're going to get the best value out of. It doesn't matter if you're going to buy it from somebody else. Obviously, I'd love you to buy it from me. Obviously, there's no, mystery about that. Dean's trying to sell you cars. I'm trying to sell 100 cars in 100 days. But I also want you to go, okay, well, I didn't buy a car from that guy, but geez, he gave me some honest advice. Next time, I'm going to go and see that guy. Or, my mum's looking for a car, my friends. This guy is going to do the very best that he can with the tools that he's got to ensure you get the best car deal possible. So all I'm going to say, check out the River Inter Motor Group, www.riverintermotorgroup.com.au website. Used and Nissan is my wheelhouse. We also have Volvo, Kia, Volkswagen and Audi. I won't sell you one of those, but I'll introduce you to the people who will. Those guys will look after you, because otherwise I'll give them a hard time. But Nissan and used cars, jump on there. If you need something around the country, if you're in Sydney, don't let that deter you from giving me a call. More than happy to look after you. But as far as used cars go, please take some of those factors into consideration. If you want to print off that checklist and go and buy a car from somebody else, tell them Dean sent you and say, Dean has mentioned these things that I need to look at and consider before I give you my hard-earned money. And look, a non-dodgy salesperson is going to say, absolutely do your due diligence. And here's the other thing that most reasonable and fair income salespeople will do, and companies will do, is if you say, can I have that car taken to my personal mechanic? Can I take it to to my private mechanic and have it done? As long as you're willing to put up the couple $100, whatever it is that they charge for the full inspection, most car dealers, including myself, I will take it there for you. I'll organise that car to be delivered to your personal mechanic so you can get it checked over for your peace of mind. We're not going to mind one bit. If they're hesitant to do that, panic. Absolutely panic. There's something that they're trying to hide. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm quite happy to say, look, it's a 10 grand car, comes with flaws. These are the flaws. But if you're happy to have it at this, we can do this, we can get it to there. And I'm happy to provide a pink slip provided by either our mechanics here, depending on the brand of car you buy from us, or our external mechanic that we use for all of our reconditioning on non-River Inter Motor Group brands. So there's a lot to like, a lot to digest. I'm happy for you to ask questions in the comments. I'm happy for you to send me a text. Don't ring me 50 times a day with dumb questions. There's only so much time I have in a day, but I am happy to help in any way, shape or form. And obviously, download the checklist. Head over to your local dealer if you're in Sydney, Melbourne, Victoria, Adelaide, wherever, and use it as a guide. That's what it's there for. It's there to make your car buying journey a little bit easier. I'm happy to help where I can. And as I'm learning, I'm going to share as much as I can with you guys. Thanks very much. Have a great day.